Okay, I got to do a little shameless plug. I have the Expo Click marker, and if you really like your teacher, if you're going to give them a marker or any kind of markers, if they use dry erase boards, this Expo Click is awesome. This is the first time a student gave this to me as a gift, and this thing is so cool. Like I guess I'll have to use it a little bit longer before I really start endorsing it. But as far as being able to click and cool and write, and it writes great, I really like it. So, anyways, just a little endorsement I had for it. So therefore what we have is y equals 1/2 x squared plus 3. And what I want to do is solve this by using the square root method. And we use the square root method because pretty much what we're going to be doing is taking the square root in the method. So, but to solve, what we're going to want to do is set this equal to 0. Now, the reason why the square root method is so important is because we don't always have to go into factoring. Everybody's, when they get into quadratics, you always think factoring, factoring. But there's some types of quadratics where we don't have to factor. And in this case, we still only have one x variable, and there's nothing else. So now I can just isolate my one variable and then use the inverse operations. So what I'm going to do is just subtract 3 to the other side. So I have -3 equals 1/2 x squared. Now, to undo multiplying by 1/2, I can divide by 1/2 on both sides. And I'll do this a couple different ways throughout this course. Now, remember, when you take a number, divide it by a fraction, the same thing as dividing by a fraction is really to multiply by its reciprocal. So therefore, really, I have 2/1 times -3, which is going to be a -6, equals x squared. Now, to go ahead and solve this, I'll take the square root on both sides. And what you'll notice is now x equals the square root of -6, plus or minus. And for most of your course, it all depends on where you are in your classes, this would be what a no solution. And if you look at the graph, this is not going to be an exact point, the square root of -6, because it doesn't exist in our real number system. However, once you get into a little bit farther math advances, you will be able to see that the solutions, even though we can't graph them, on a real number system are going to be the square root of 6i, where I is going to star for our imaginary number. So I'll go and use that, but sometimes if you get to this point, depending on your course, you might just say, hey, it's no solutions. You can't find those in the real number system. So there you go. Thanks.